No, this is not a new Transformers tool for the Optimus Prime, but rather mine. Hi guys, Matthew here, I'm back, and welcome back to my channel. Some of you may remember the mountain brand back when I checked their first ever product, that being the Macalo 67 ultralight, super ultralight actually, wired gaming mouse. If you haven't, there is going to be a link to it in the right top corner so you can check it out later on. And here now I have the long awaited Kickstarter crowdfunded, their first mechanical keyboard called the Everest. Like with the Macalo, the product box has a nice hefty feel to it, colored in black and blue scheme of the brand. It looks like its oversized brother. Once you open it up, you'll see two compartments, top with the keyboard itself, and this drawer-like one below it holds the rest of the bundle. In there you'll find your accessories, like the cables, key puller, standoffs, and even samples of different Cherry MX switches, while this model in question carried the Cherry MX Brown. So, what's this keyboard all about and why did we have a lot of fuss around it? Well, as you can see here, the main keyboard portion comes in as a 10 keyless layout, but it can be so much more than that. It can have a numpad if you want to, being it on the left or right side, it's up to you, or you can attach a media dock controller, again on the left or right top side of it. So yes, you can configure it as you please, and that is its key selling point. Mountain managed to achieve this modularity using USB-C ports around the keyboard's housing, plus a couple of fixing points to make the add-on sturdier when connected. The Everest Max version of it is the most equipped model in their offering, which is what I have here, where you'll get all the bells and whistles, and like this it will set you back around 250 euros, while the core model, which is just the 10 keyless keyboard itself, without any add-ons, costs 160 euros. You can also go for the option of building your own setup in terms of the switch configuration and add-ons, so you can basically build it from ground up. You will also get one USB Type-A port on the back, while for connecting the keyboard to the device we have this 2-meter long Type-A to Type-C USB braided cable that connects onto the bottom side of the keyboard, and you have an option to use these different routing canals to make it look more seamless. Back to the add-ons, finally as the last one we have this big wrist rest covered in a leather-like material and what seems to be a soft cushion beneath it. Speaking of the ergonomics, to make it more adjustable we have these magnetic standoffs, a total of 8 of them, so you can raise the keyboard up in 2 different levels. Although they're only magnetic, they do feel sturdy enough when connected, and with something like a big mouse pad beneath it, it didn't have any problems with them suddenly popping out. Speaking of sturdy, the keyboard build quality is up there with any other mechanical keyboard that uses mostly aluminum metal construction, combined with some ABS plastic. So nothing to complain about here, especially since I really dig this gunmetal gray finish. The only thing that was a bit off was the sturdiness of the connection for the wrist rest and numpad. It feels like they could be a bit more rigid. When it comes to the typing experience, there is not that much to talk about. It's a Cherry MX Brown switch after all, one that I've been using for over 5 years now on my current keyboard, and it's my personal favorite in terms of covering every use case scenario in a balanced act, and that was no different with the Mountain Everest. The backlighting for the keys is of course RGB, with an ample amount of ways for controlling it, more on this later on. And here is how the keyboard key switches and other clicky and moving bits sound. What needs getting used to was all the additional options that this keyboard brings. As mentioned, the media bar is much more than that, it can be used for multiple other things. And one that pops right out is this small IPS screen that shows different information and is used to switch between various actions, and of course we have your usual media controls over the switches right next to it, together with the cap, scroll and other LED indicator lights. While that's cool and all, I had most use of this Numpad because of its hotkeys. It's very similar to Elgato's Stream Deck, having these 4 dedicated keys with IPS screens on it. They are a bit out of your way on the right side in its so to speak original position, which is why I opted to put the Numpad on the left side. All of this is customizable over their Basecamp software utility. For example, you can choose what the display dial will have in terms of the pre-configured menus, or you can just create a custom menu on your own. The same goes for the hotkeys on the Numpad add-on, and of course you can set up different profiles of the keyboards depending on what you're doing, or alternatively, who is using it. The only thing that is missing is the multi-level folder configuration option, again something similar to what Elgato has. This is mainly for when you use software like Premiere Pro, Photoshop or After Effects, where you just cannot have enough of key bindings and macros. I would really like to see that being added through software, and maybe later on they could also offer more hardware accessories with more of these IPS switch screens on a single add-on, like 12 or 16 of them for example. But like this, I used it for my OBS on-screen recording, VPN connections, Audacity recording and other day-to-day tasks. All in all, I'm really liking what Mountain brought with this model to the table, pun intended. An idea that in practice and in real life use has a lot of sense, and I wouldn't mind seeing it expand further, maybe even with a wireless version of the keyboard and the add-ons, with a low profile switch option and a low profile of the keyboard as a whole. That would be really cool. That's it for this time from me. Thank you once again for watching. If you find this helpful, please take a second to toss me a thumbs up because that really helps a lot. And if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe, and if you already are, be sure to press that notification bell down below so don't miss out on a new video. And until then, catch you later guys.